Best of 2022 video.
What is up, everybody? My name is Matt, often called Big Nerdy. Together we are the NWO, the Nerd World Order, and this is Nerdzoic. On this channel, we talk a ton about toys, action figures, as a way to unplug from all the crappy parts of adulting. Unfortunately, sometimes collecting becomes a negative cesspool on its own right, but not here. While we are brutally honest and highly critical when needed to be, we do it in a fun and positive way. My goal is to spread the happiness of plastic crack to maybe make the world slightly less grumpy. Another year gone. I feel like Albus Dumbledore. There's lots of these types of videos coming out, but mine is slightly different in that I try to make it cover most of all the toy world. You might say, hey Matt, didn't you guys just have the Nerdie Awards show? Yes, we did, but that's where the NWO speaks. This is what I think. And I did try to make sure that there's representatives of every line here, and that meant cutting some things I loved. Meaning, we gotta talk about honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1, a whole lot of Marvel Legends. Now, despite people asking me if we're at the beginning of the end of the Marvel Legends line,
we're in the end game now.
It really ended up being a pretty strong year when I look back on it. There's the symbiote Spidey and Ben Reilly that came out earlier this year. There's the Rhino, there's the Beast, there's the Ghost Rider. All of these are great, but they miss my top 10. Also missing my top 10 is something that you might consider a sin, and that is that I did not include the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, which is probably on everybody else's list, and it is an amazing figure, but since I'm not like an articulation fiend, it fell just short. Now, if I forgot something, the Hidden Gems video is coming for those underappreciated figures here in a few weeks, so don't worry. And the only rule here is that I'm not going to mention Galactus again after right now, because that would be like comparing a filet mignon to a London broil. That's a fat guy analogy for you. Coming in at number 10 is the Mezco Wolverine. Now, this is the first Mezco that I carried in our toy store, so it's got a special spot in my heart. Wolverine is not light on representation, but this is probably the best Tiger Stripe version that we have ever seen, in my opinion. I love the fact that we get all the different heads so we can do different Wolverine eras, and I love the slashing effects, and of course the base that's a beat up Sentinel. I love it. Coming in at number 9 is the Black Series Deluxe Throne Room Boba Fett. I know this one might surprise some people, but give me a second. I'll start with this. There's no nice way to say it. This was a major down year for the Black Series. Looking back, the only figures that stand out as special were deluxe figures. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Even the best Black Series figure of the year on the Nerdies ended up being the 𝐒𝐲𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐝 figure. Compared to previous years, it was pretty weak. Now, back in the day, deluxe used to mean a ton of extra accessories, often unneeded accessories, but there was a lot of accessories that went with it that you wouldn't normally get in a regular figure. The stuff that comes in this one, we probably should be getting in a base figure, but they made it a deluxe, and that does hurt it for me, I'm not gonna lie, but I still love the figure. My son called it fire, whatever that means. It's one of the better face sculpts in the line. I've heard some people differ on that. They say it's a bad face sculpt. I think it's a really good face sculpt. I do like that we did get all the needed accessories. The colors on it really pop, and I love that they got the dad bod so right. This thing would have seriously benefited from some soft goods, but beggars can't be choosers. Coming in at number 8 is the Mafex Secret Wars Spider-Man. In my mind, at least, this is the figure that knocked the Marvel Legends retro symbiote off of its high horse of greatness. This is based on Secret Wars and the suit Spider-Man got there in the 1984 series. This is not an era I know very well, so I don't know if there's a difference between this suit and like the one we see in the cartoon in the 90s. Not sure, but we'll call it the Secret Wars black suit to be safe. What makes this guy special is the insane articulation. Also the way that the articulation does not really mess with the figure aesthetic, so great design. You can get this figure into some crazy positions. I love the different head sculpts. I love the one with the suit crawling up his face. I love it. I also love the fact that we got magnets in the hand so that he can be like on the refrigerator climbing. That's awesome.
Magnets, how do they work?
Coming in at number 7 is the NECA Gargoyles Hudson. I knew I needed the Gargoyles on this list, and it was a tough choice. Demona and Bronx are both very nice, but Hudson is, in my opinion, the best Gargoyles figure NECA has put out to date. In fairness, this might be my favorite figure because Hudson is my favorite character from the show. For those who don't remember, Hudson actually named himself after the Hudson River after we found out that the Gargoyles don't have names except for Goliath. So they all took New York names. Hudson, Broadway, Brooklyn. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And Demora, she had a name too. I would love to see some sort of a Gargoyles accessory set in the future where we get more wings for the guys who didn't get their wings with them, like the closed ones, and a rocking chair. This guy needs a rocking chair. I'm excited for the future of this line with more Gargoyles content coming out. NECA recently released their 12 days of downloads and they had some new stuff on there that I can't wait to see. So yeah, Gargoyles looking great in 2023. What is this? What am I doing with the pew 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 pew? Coming in at number 6 is the 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐄𝐢 𝐒𝐨𝐜𝐢𝐚 TMNT figure. 𝐒𝐈𝐿 is killing it with TMNT, and they're killing it from pretty much all angles. Cartoons, movies, comics, newer comics, it's just been nuts. In a year of great Turtles figures, this one is my favorite. I do not have it in my collection yet because I don't go to Target all that often anymore, but I did get to mess around with him at my buddy's house, so, here's hoping he comes to my collection soon. I won't lie, this might be a nostalgia pick because I remember the original figure very fondly, and I just love how it looks. The cell shading's perfect on it. He's great. Coming in at number 5 is the G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter. Attention! Listen up, maggots. In a year where everyone is celebrating Serpentor, the Sarge is being overlooked. Wow, the Sarge voice hurts. I'm not gonna lie, this was a shock. When I was watching the stream back in June and Sarge just showed up and was like, hey, I'm back, I was very shocked. I figured he was on some kind of an exclusive contract with 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐼𝐿, but apparently not. Speaking of 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐼𝐿, I absolutely love the 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐼𝐿 Sergeant Slaughter figures. I think when you look at it and you're objective, the 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐼𝐿 version is a superior figure. It's a better face, it's got better articulation, it's better proportioned, but this one is different in that it's very exaggerated in size and the scale, and it makes his chin look like, Sergeant Slaughter, extra chinny. He's also extra big. He's not in correct scale for the, real life, but based on the cartoon, Sarge was big. So it's really a pick your poison. Do you want realistic, lifelike Sarge? You get the 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐼𝐿. Do you want cartoony Sarge? You get the G.I. Joe. Either way, I'm pretty sure that people in the Sergeant Slaughter household are eating well this year with all these Sarge figures coming out. The fact that he comes with himself, as a minifigure mint on card, that's pretty awesome. That might be what set him over the top for me. And as much as the evil, flag-burning, anti-American Sergeant Slaughter that is a bigger part of my youth, I like this Happy Slaughter more. He fights for everyone. In America, he wants his country back. Coming in at number 4 is the Black Series Macquarie design concept Vader vs. Obi-Wan. If I am an unapologetic fanboy sim for anything, it is figures based on Macquarie concept art. It's almost become like a niche in itself for me. I love this set for a couple reasons. Having the characters of Vader and Obi-Wan together, it brings me back to my very first Christmas of collecting toys. I think it was '99. I got the 12-inch Power of the Force Vader vs. Obi-Wan electronic set. To this day, it's one of my favorite toys, which is pretty crazy, but I think it helps clarify why getting a 2-pack of these guys together means so much to me. Sadly, this is probably one of the last window packages we're going to get, which makes me very sad, but I'm glad we at least got this. Minus the color of the hair, Obi-Wan looks like a doppelganger of Red Foreman from that '70s show. I love the concept Vader mask, and I love the fact that the black and blue complement so well. Once again, we get soft plastic robes instead of soft goods, which I thought we were trying to do less plastic, but I'm not gonna do it. Not going down that road. This is a happy video. Coming in at number 3 is the Marvel Legends Classic Doctor Strange. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that I would love this figure this much, I would have called you a liar, sir. When this went up for pre-order, I rushed over to Walmart.com to pre-order this thing ASAP. I love the face sculpt. I love the flowing robes. And honestly, the only negative that I see is the fact that the cloak is not removable. As someone who focuses their collection on classic / definitive looks of characters, this is my dude. And even though the rest of the figure doesn't look like him at all, the wings and the hair really give me a Paulie Walnuts vibe. Oh! Coming in at number 2 is the Mythic Legion's Figura Obscura Headless Horseman. Sometimes we mean to do something and we mess up, and this one hits home, man. This one hits home. I missed out. That's right. This is the one that got away. It dropped twice in one day. The first time it dropped, I was coaching Little League and I didn't have a good signal, so I couldn't order it. So I said to myself, make sure you get there for the nighttime drop and buy this thing. This is quite possibly my favorite release the 4 Horsemen have ever put out. I can't wait to obtain this guy because much like the Santa Claus, he is going to actually live in my office, 10 months of the year, and then whenever we get close to Halloween time, he's gonna go upstairs into the main living area, and I'm gonna start my evil plan of tricking my wife into allowing me to use action figures as decor pieces around the house. Yes, I know it's evil, but the house will look good. Coming in at number 1 is the 20th anniversary Captain America. Not a surprise here, there's not much here to say other than, well done, Hasbro. Round of applause. This figure has an amazing sculpt. I love the scales, a lot like the 80th anniversary figure, but unlike the 80th anniversary figure, we get an unmasked head with it. And while I don't have the 80th figure to use as a comparison, just looking at pictures, it looks like this one's a little bit brighter in the red. I will say I'm not a fan of the shield with the effects, but no big deal. Bada bing, bada boom, you switch out the shield and you're good to go. But I love the entire presentation here. The Toy Biz box, the backdrop, the stand, all of it. 2022 is now in the books, and I have to say, despite the ups and downs, it was a damn good year for action figures. Kinda makes you wonder how it compares to, say, last year. Well, decide for yourself by watching this, the best of 2021, and you can say, hey, What year was better? And remember, you have to get old, but you don't have to grow up. Just be cool and stay nerdy. Later.